Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is George Man and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Code Geass Roze the Recapture episode 4. So, what did I think about this week's episode? Honestly, I thought this week's episode was a blast of nostalgia. I absolutely loved it. It was great seeing the returning characters of the original series, as well as seeing how the story is developing, where we see the conflict now being built up to a higher scale, where now it seems like it's going to be an all-out war. And there's no escaping it. We're gonna see an absolutely epic battle going forward. I'm assuming from what we saw in this week's episode, how they set it up, and overall I thought it was great setup for what's to come in the future. Now, with all that being said, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my anime and manga, as well as all my Code Geass content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's episode. Now, one last thing to note is that I'm currently still on vacation. As we speak, I'm actually staying at my grandma's, as my last stop. It's just spending some time with grandma. And pretty much everybody's asleep, so I'm a little quiet because it is pretty early. As the recording of this episode video is like 7 in the morning or so. So just as a heads up, I'll be a little whispering because I don't want to wake up my grandma. But yeah. Now, with all that being said, let's get into this week's episode. So, how the episode starts off is we actually see the return of our favorite green hair pizza-eating waifu, which is C2. And to say that I was absolutely, ecstatic about seeing my girl back, it would be an understatement. C2 is my favorite waifu of all time. She is arguably one of my favorite female characters of all time as well in anime. I loved her, and it was great seeing once again her English VA show up again and reprise the role, because I love her English voice actor, and it's also C as well as Lelouch. We see Johnny once again, Johnny Young Bosch voicing Lelouch again, which is always a blast. And what we see is that pretty much C2 is just questioning like, hey, do you think it was the right choice to give that chick our Geass fragment? And she's talking to Lelouch. She's like, did you only do that because she was one of Kaguya's relatives? And Lelouch is like, like kind of quiet, and then he's like, so are we gonna interfere or something? Like, are we gonna help out going forward? And Lelouch is like, you know what, we are no longer bound by time. We're outside of time. And you can take that as a different meaning. You can be like, you think to yourself like, hey, are they saying like we're not getting involved because we already got involved as it is? We can't get involved because time is stagnant towards us because we're out of the we're out of the loop when it comes to time? Or is it something along the lines like, let them do it and we're just gonna be in the background and we'll help them out, but we're not gonna do it for them, if that makes any sense. Like, they're not gonna personally step in and clear any mess. That's why they'll have their vessels, like somebody like Sakuya, for example. But yeah, that was really good seeing them too. Finally, I love them. They're my favorite couple in anime as well. So great seeing them once again. And what happens after that, we see pretty much the Black Knights talking about how they're struggling to defeat Neo Britannia, and because their Democles are building up, and they're knights of the round, whatever. It's just been a hard time taking care of them. And we'll see Cornelia, and it was great seeing Cornelia again. Another fan favorite of the original Code Geass, and you see that she's part of she's one of the commanders of the Black Knights, which makes sense, which is ironic because in the original series she was one of the people that was destroying the Black Knights, but now she's one of their commanders. So it's kind of interesting and very funny to see, especially because the Black Knights now are like the world's military, the UN's military, so it would make sense that she would be a part of it, but it's still funny regardless. And what happens is pretty much after that, we see one of the knights, that's under the command of Lord Nolan, how he's destroying some of the resistance, the Japanese resistance, and they're getting wiped out, and this guy seems like a jerk. Like, he just seems like typical Neo-Britannian. And we see that pretty much after that, the Princess Shelly, I believe that's her name, or Sherry, the one with the orange hair, the Sakuya's friend. You see that she's mourning the death of the prince, or the king, my bad, the emperor, the previous emperor, and you see that she's taking it really to heart. And you see that even Sakuya is like questioning pretty much how he passed away, because they say that it was like a cardiac arrest or like a heart attack or something that he passed away. But they're all saying that like it's too easy. Like, it's such an easy way to explain it. Like his death was obviously purposely like done by Nolan or somebody inside, which is why they want to take down Nolan, because he's like an extremist when it comes to like he wants to take over the throne, or he's trying to plot something. And the best way to cause chaos is by putting Sakura as their empress, because now you know, people are going to be questioning like, oh, what is her loyalty lie on? And even you see that being reflected on, you know, the resistance that, you know, Sakuya is working with, you know, the actual Sakuya, not Sakura. But we see that pretty much everybody's like, oh no, like we're being like, this princess or the empress deceiving us. Is she working with them? What does that mean? But then you see everything gets cleared out by the you know, Roze or Sakura and Sakuya, my bad. And you see that everything gets cleared out because he's like, no, you see this picture, you know, she obviously was taken by force. She was forced to do this. And they're like, okay, fine enough. And after that, we see pretty much that, you know, we go cut back to how everything's being pursued and, you know, how they're going to go, like they're thinking to themselves, how are we going to go about this? And how they're going to go about this by getting help from the Black Knights in secrecy, because they go, you know, on submarines, they deliver some nightmare frames, and these nightmare frames are going to be, you know, they're very advanced looking. They're definitely upgrades. And we see pretty much that, you know, everybody's like, who's gonna get which nightmare? And, you know, so you see people like, oh, am I gonna get this one? You know, you see Haruka, she's one of the girl with the purple hair, the short one. She's like, am I gonna get this nightmare? I hope I get it. And we see that pretty much the help that the Black Knights deliver to, you know, Roze and the rest of the crew is that it's Nina. They bring a Black Knight commander as well as Nina. And it was cool seeing Nina again. Thankfully, she was nowhere near a table this time. Hopefully there was thankfully, I mean, there was no Table Kun incident again. But in all seriousness, it was also good to see her once again, you know, because it was good to see Oppenheimer show up once again. She was, think about it, she is like the Oppenheimer of the show, right? In retrospect. But it was good seeing her again, you know, being reintroduced to the story, and she's trying to make, you know, repent her sins by, you know, taking care of the Flea, because that's, you know, her whole creation. And she even explains it to them, like, you know, beforehand we had the Flea spear, which was, you had to be very precise with the weather, and it was like 0. You know, like a millisecond, like it was crazy, like you had to be super specific with the coordinates and all that to make it work. But now you have it like automatic, so it does it for you, so you don't have to worry about it much easier. It makes sense. It's been years since then, so the technology has consistently increased, so that it would make sense that she would create a creation that would be able to take care of, you know, Fleas like that. And how we end the episode is pretty much, you see Roze give the keys to this new nightmare frame, like the ace nightmare frame to Haruka, and, you know, she's very ecstatic, she's very happy, she can't believe it. And, you know, Roze is like, hey, if it's you the best, go ahead and do it, you know, make us proud. And how we end the episode is that we see Nolan, you know, scheming behind the closed doors, and he eventually, you know, talks to one of the Knights of the Round. Is like, hey, you've been doing an excellent job, but I think it's time for us to definitely wipe out Japan. Or, you know, the people of this city, of they've been causing us problems or whatever, and in reality it's just an excuse for them to wipe out a city that they don't like, you know, a Japanese city. And we see that this Knight of the Round, you know, he uses this the Damocles, lifts it off the ground, and he threatens, you know, all the people in that city. And you see Roze and the rest of the crew, or should I say Kaguya, or whatever, either way, you guys get what I'm saying. You see them, you know, they're like, we're not gonna let that happen, we're gonna battle. This was bound to happen regardless. Now it's making it way faster. This battle's gonna happen, so let's do it, and let's give it our all. And my question is, does this Flea, not my bad, does that Damocles have a Blaze Luminous shield like the original, or is it like a crappy bootleg? Because from my understanding, this is not like the same, obviously, Damocles as the original series or the recap movies. It's a new version. I'm assuming it's not as advanced because, you know, the technology was kind of borrowed, I'm guessing, or reversed engineered. So, and I'm wondering, like, you know, how this how this Flea is gonna work in the long, you know, stretch of the story. Like, is it gonna just be for the next episode? It's gonna be an ongoing thread going forward, which I'm very, you know, curious and excited to see how it plays out in the future. But with all that being said, I love this episode. I thought it was great, great setup, and now we're gonna see a big conflict in the next weeks, which I'm all for. You know, it's gonna be great, I think. Now, with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's episode? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for staying all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Code Geass, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.